The US stock markets closed in the red on Friday, ending the week on a sour note after having reached record highs earlier in the week. The S&P 500 closed at 2,976.61 on Friday, with a 0.78% weekly decline as geopolitical worries overshadowed the hopes of interest rate cuts by the US Federal Reserve. The US stocks had started the trading session higher as investors cheered the potential for a bigger-than-expected interest rate cut at the end of the month. New York Fed President John Williams on Thursday said policymakers should take preventative measures at first signs of an economic slowdown. The market took this to mean that a bigger interest rate cut was on the way. However, it turned out that Williams' speech did not carry the intended message. A New York Fed spokesperson later clarified that he never meant to indicate a more aggressive pace of interest rate cuts. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell on Friday to settle at 27,154, still logging a slight weekly gain of 0.24%. Meanwhile, the NASDAQ Composite Index was at 8,146 at Friday's close, off 0.6% week-on-week. Although stocks closed lower on Friday, Microsoft was able to hit a new intraday all-time high at $141.02 per share. The company's better-than-expected earnings report was behind the record move in price. The company reported earnings per share of $1.71 against expectations around $1.21 per share. Revenue also beat at $33.72 billion against a $32.77 billion forecast. It's now the sole company listed on the U.S. exchanges with a market capitalization over $1 trillion. However, the stock yet failed to par its weekly losses, marking a 1.2% fall week-on-week. Meanwhile, Boeing company stock rallied after the aircraft maker put a relatively small price of $4.9 billion related to its 737 MAX problems, making Wall Street comfortable with the size of the charge. The aerospace giant's shares traded as high as $375.11, their highest intraday level since June 26, and were the best performer on the Dow, which counts Boeing as a member. The stock price soared by 4.5% on Friday to end at $377.36, with a 5.11% weekly rise. You've watched Weekly Financial Review on Insta TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to always keep track of the latest events on financial markets. See you back soon.